Hey guys, Effie here. Today I'm going to introduce our new Slimline Die release. We released 14 new Slimline dies, a storage solution for our dies, and also our Kaleidoscope Butterfly stamp set. And I'm going to start off by introducing this new stamp first. This is our Kaleidoscope Butterfly stamp. It's a 6x6 photopolymer stamp set. It's a grouped layering set. Our grouped layering system is patent pending. You have these two grouped layering stamps, which will stamp out 7 butterflies, and then you have 3 individual butterfly stamps and also 3 sentiment stamps inside the set. Once you stamp out both layers of our Kaleidoscope butterflies, you can cut out all 7 images at once using the grouped layering die. And this is what your panel will look like if you stamp both layers. So you have the outline first layer stamp and then the second body stamp, which will stamp inside the butterfly's body with different colors. And then you can just die cut everything at once using that coordinating die. Before I move on to the actual dies, I want to show you guys the resealable pouches that we released so that you can store our slimline dies. The inner portions of our resealable pouch measures approximately 4 by 9 inches. These pouches will fit our slimline dies. If you buy these pouches to store your other slimline dies from other companies, be sure to double check the dimensions of your other companies' dies, because I'm not 100% sure if these pouches will fit those. The inside measures approximately 4 by 9 inches. So double check your stash before you order these for other companies' dies. But they definitely fit our dies. So let's get started. First up is our Dot Slimline cover plate die. It features a really beautiful pattern, kind of looks like snowfall. Here you can see I just die cut it from white cardstock, backed it with a white cardstock panel, and then next you're going to see it used on an actual card. For this card, I used our berry branches, chickadee greetings, and for the sentiment, it's a combination of our many holiday sentiments dies, and then the Let It Snow is from one of our larger 9 by 12 inch stamps. And then the border frame on this card was created using our Slim Frames Slimline cover plate die. It's the largest frame, border frame from this die. So this die will cut out several frames all at once, and here you can see that I've already gone ahead and cut some. I've used the largest border on the card that I've shown you, and then the smallest border I use on another card, which I will show you in a bit. So I just have these leftover border frames. I used 2 frames and I have a few left. You can use these on future projects. And what I like about these types of cover plate dies is that you create a bunch of frames at once so that you have them on hand. Next up is our Star cover plate slimline die. It's similar to our Dot cover plate, except you have a star pattern. And here you can see how the die cut looks backed against a white panel. Next up is our fractured slimline cover plate die. This will cut out your panel into a beautiful geometric pattern. And here you can see how this die cut will look when it's cut out using white cardstock and then backed against a white card panel. And for this card, you can see how I use that fractured cover plate die cut behind my Kaleidoscope butterflies and floral card. The butterflies are from our new Kaleidoscope butterfly set, and the florals are from our wildflower bits set, and then the sentiment is from our many sentiments dies. For this border die, this is kind of a scallop within a large scallop. Kind of looks like one of those cookies, but this is one of my favorite dies from this entire release. I think it's just so fun. And next up is this die. I'm not quite sure what you would call this border pattern, but it's very feminine and very pretty, and it also has that piercing detail. And next up is a more simple scallop die with the piercing detail. And I'm just going to quickly go back to this die cut to show you that straight line die cut with that piercing detail. You can see on the bottom edge, I cut this panel using that straight edge with the piercing detail. Next, we have a larger scallop die with piercing details. The next die is the same scallop design, but it's a smaller version and it has those piercing details as well. all 6 dies in our border slimline collection are at least 9 inches long. Some of them might be 9 1/4 inches long, but they're great because they're really long and you can cut out an entire page of your borders so that you can use them on your projects and you don't have to keep going back to die cut a bunch of your borders because they're long and you don't have to spend as much time creating. So here I just created some strips using these border dies, and these are really going to be awesome for my future cards and also for scrapbooking layouts as well. And what's great is that all of the borders coordinate really nicely together because you have the piercing details that are the same on each border die, so they coordinate very nicely with each other. So you can mix and match or use them individually. And here are the 3 cards that I created using our border dies. Here you can see I used that really pretty pointy pattern border on this card. For this card, I used our rose label stamp and our kaleidoscope butterfly set. For my next card, I used that scallop in a scallop border die. You can see it on the bottom. It looks really nice against that really deep red cardstock in the background. For the florals in this card, I use our rose labels and then a combination of our new stamps that we released a couple weeks ago, like our berry bits, winter foliage, pine cones. And for the sentiment, I used our Fill It In holiday set, and then I embellished the card using our clear dewdrop enamel dots. And you could also see that pierced panel in the center that the sentiment is stamped on. That's our pierced nesting slimline dies, which I'll show you in a bit. And these are our pierced nesting slimline dies. You can see the piercing detail. This is going to cut out the panel and leave a nice pierced detail along the edges of the panel. There are 6 dies in this nesting die collection. Next up is our simple nesting slimline die collection. These will just cut out panels. There are no piercing or stitching details. These are just really basic dies. And there are 7 dies in this nesting collection. Next up is the stitched nesting die collection. There are 6 dies in this collection. I cut out 2 panels using 2 of these dies so you can see what the stitching looks like. You can see for this card, I used the largest die in our stitched nesting dies collection. For the pumpkins, I used our Ella pumpkins, Thankful Gourds, and Butternut Squash. And then you can see for this panel, I used our scalloped nesting dies. For this inner border here, that is the smallest frame in our Slim Frames cover plate die cuts. Next up is our scalloped nesting slimline dies. There are 6 dies in this collection, and each die will cut out a scalloped panel with piercing details. And here's a close-up look at the largest die cut that I created using the largest die. Next, I'm going to show you the rest of our cover plate dies. This is our grid slimline die, and here I just cut it on white cardstock and backed it on a white card panel. Next is our short stripes cover plate die, and here's what the die cut looks like against a white card panel. Next up is our long stripes cover plate die. And here is our diagonal stripes cover plate die. And finally, our candy cane stripes cover plate die. And for this die cut, I actually backed it on red cardstock so that you can see the difference in the stripes. And that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the rundown of our new Slimline release. I am so excited to get in on the Slimline dies. I'm a little late to the game, but better late than never. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all of the new products today. I will link our new release blog post in the description box so that you can see all of the inspiration by our wonderful and talented design team members. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.